Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the best gold discoveries in the space over the last year. Seriously throwing out a lot of gold down in Victoria in the shadow of the head frame of what was, over the last 4 of the 6 years, the highest grade gold mine on Earth, being Fosterville. So it looks like we've got another one of those systems. The key points here are that this discovery, how do you benchmark a discovery? Let's look at the hit rate. Let's look at 50 gram metre hits or 100 gram metre hits and divide it by the number of metres drilled to date. And then you get a ratio of how often you hit those. This project, I can't find another project that's got this kind of hit rate with the amount of metres that we've got. And I can't talk about other companies in the public domain, but I urge you to go and have a look at other projects around the world, and this is truly leading. We probably drilled 3 of the best drill holes globally in the last year, all around the world. There's a very clear objective here with the company. It's to demonstrate the grade. This is a very high grade deposit, and that's been the secret of what we've been drilling so far. We're still very much at the early stage of that Lassonde curve. We're very early on. We drilled 30 kilometres in the last year, but there's a hell of a lot to come. And we've also got the aim to demonstrate the regional scale. We've drilled holes 3 to 8 kilometres along strike from the core area and hit high grade gold. The system continues. It's a big system. We're drilling and drilling lots. We've got 4 rigs at site. We're in the middle of a 19-kilometre program. We don't aim to stop. We've got permits, we've got cash, and we own the freehold land over the project. We liked it so much, about on the 15th hole, we said we've got to buy this freehold land, and that gives us a whole lot of optionality in terms of access and future permitting. The market cap is around about the 170, 180 million market cap. We have some very good shareholders, some of the biggest names here in Canada, actually. We've got Pierre Lassonde, who named us in Denver a few months ago as his top pick. We have some of the bigger institutions, Franklin Templeton, and a number of key Australian institutions, of course, because we are listed on the ASX. A number here that I'll just focus on very briefly, 51% is owned by a company called Mawson Gold, a company I co-founded, and that shareholding is escrowed until May this year. Mawson has announced that it will distribute its stock to its shareholders, and the shareholding of Mawson very much mimics the shareholding of Southern Cross these days. And that's a key part of it. Those key people that I mentioned are shareholders directly of Southern Cross. So we're not going to see a massive overhang of stock. When it is all distributed, we'll be more than 50% institutionally and high net worth owned. It will change the nature and structure of our register and make it much more robust, without a doubt. This is what it's all about, though. Lots of gold. This nearly goes 0.5% gold, 0.5%. This little bit of drill core, I'll come back to that later. This is a way just to show you, we've drilled a lot, 30 kilometres. How do you summarise it in a slide? Well, this is a summary of 24,000 assays that we've taken over the last year. These are the key drill hole intersections into it. Importantly, 5 of the top 10, the best have come out over the last 3 or 4 months. So we're getting onto very good parts of the system. We're understanding it better, and as a consequence, we're drilling. And I would say there's also a lot of good fortune that the system's continuing to develop as better than we could have ever really hoped for. And that link with the understanding has led to that drill success. If you look at the 24,000 assays and just do a 2 metre carrying 1 gram bulk weighted average, pretty much this is time here. So this is our drilling when we started in May 22. Mawson owned it for a year or so. We put $5 or $6 million in the ground then, and there was only 5 kilometres of drilling in this project up until 2 years ago. So it essentially was unexplored. The average width at that cut-off grade is 4 metres and stayed pretty consistent. But I'll just take off that scribble. You can see the grade is really improved from just over a year ago, where it started really to ramp up, and that's reflective of where this project's going. So it's over 20 grams per tonne average. That's not that the median is a lot lower, so it's skewed by very high grades, but it just demonstrates the stats. So it is a very high grade deposit. Victoria is a gift that keeps on giving. You all know probably much better what Victoria is and the gift that it gives, because the $1.5 billion that came out of Fosterville annually all flowed into this market, not into the Australian market. So really this is a slide that I have to give to my Australian colleagues who really don't understand the difference of these later styles of mineralisation, which we call epizonal, which is Sunday Creek, our project, which is Fosterville, and another one called Costerfield. These two mines, Costerfield and Fosterville, are Canadian owned. So still the benefits of Victoria come through to this market. Sunday Creek is one of these systems without a doubt. The earlier systems that made Victoria famous, made it vie for its rivalry with California during the gold rush, are different, and they're unreconcilable in a modern day sense, and it gave Victoria a bit of a reputation, but very different. The more modern and amenable mines have really only been known for the last 7 or 8 years. We've understood now that about 700 metres below surface, these epizonal systems can form uber high grades. It's what made Fosterville so famous. It's this brittle ductile transition, very geological, but basically the ductility focuses the gold very, very well and makes it so high grade. So that's what's driven our thesis to drill to depth, and we've drilled to 1 kilometre. Let's get into the 3D experience, because that's why we're all here. Now, this is Melbourne. This is my hometown. This is our project here. This is Fosterville. And this is Costerfield. So we're about 60 kilometres from Melbourne, very close. People will be commuting from Melbourne to work on this project. But it is in an enclave of regional farmland that is not cottage country, and it is we've got literally thousands of acres south of us where we can develop into this project. So it is a unique situation. And if we just focus in, we're just going to go a little quicker here with only 3 minutes to go. Sunday Creek is here. We have 2 other projects that are joint ventures. This is 100% owned, Fosterville and Costerfield. Let's go into here and look. Now this is the tenement, 20,000 hectares. The footprint of mineralisation extends over 10 kilometres. We focused in here, but we have drilled up through here and hit half ounce to 20 gram, half metre to 1 metre wide zones out through here. It's the same geology, and I'll explain a little bit about that. Same view. Here's that freehold land in green with the 10 kilometre trend, and our key focus is here. If I focus in on that little key area, this is how the geology works. It's like a ladder. We have a host horizon that's about 200 metres thick. It's a big structure, and that hosts all the gold. We've only missed it in 2 holes out of 100. We know when we're coming into it, we know when we're going out of it. But within that host, the vein sets that cross it at a high angle are like the rungs, and that's where all the gold is. And these rungs are 2 to 20 metres wide, 20 to 100 metres long, and they exist from surface right down to 1 kilometre. And any individual vein we've measured through drilling is up to 600 metres. The coefficient of variation, don't want to get into geostats with only 2 minutes to go, is very good. It's 1.5 for the geologists in the room. If you're below 2, that's where you really want to be in the geostatistical sense to show the variability between points in space. So this is a nice, consistent style of mineralisation. Predictable, it will mean less drilling. It will mean that we can drill this out with wider spacing, less capital, more money per share. Here's that little bit of core that went 0.5%, and here's the 3D model. The vein sets are grey. We're only showing you plus 15 gram hits in the gold dots. So you can see the grade is right through there. You can see the scale. It's 1 kilometre down that we've drilled over about 1 kilometre through here. The key points are that this is just the very start of the game. So in blue here, we've got the mineralisation that's been well drilled. We put an exploration target out on that today. That's 1 to 1.6 million ounces at 7.5 to 9.7 grams gold equivalent, just in there. Now look at this. This is an old mine here. We've hit here 2 or 3 metres at 40 grams. So these veins will continue, and there's so much more to be found. So you can see we're only a little bit of the way into the discovery of this deposit. 500 metre step out down there, hit gold as well. So very early days to a system that's becoming much larger. You can see 10 kilometres that way. I'm just going to zip through now and we're just going to talk metallurgy very quickly. No red flags. We put out metallurgy a couple of weeks ago. Gravity float, traditional bog standard. The antimony is very important in this prospect because it defines it as a critical metals project. It will be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, antimony project in the Western world, knowing that China and Russia control the antimony space and the Western world has lost that supply chain. So this will help rebuild that. Very focused on, of course, every company has to be focused on this ESG side of things. We have a great team in place. I'm 6th generation next to this project, despite by travelling the world for 25 years looking for deposits. I've gone back home. It's quite amazing. So lots of drilling, 17 holes in the lab as we speak, 4 rigs drilling, continually hitting those very high grades. There's so much more to come. Please take a deeper dive and come and join us on the journey of what is one of the most exciting gold discoveries in the space today.